Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good, you can hear me. I was about to say, can you hear me? Or can you hear me? Or can you hear me? Then I can start sounding like the Sprint commercial. But I'm glad you can hear me. Thank you very much for sticking around. By being here, I noticed that you are practicing the Toastmasters core values, and that's commitment to excellence. Isn't that wonderful? And I want to talk with you today about succession planning. Before I go into that, I'd like to share with you a short story. It's about two friends who've been together for a long, long time. They do everything together, so one day they decided that they were going to go to Las Vegas together to do a little bit of gambling. Now, the friends are Artie and John. And Artie has this magical dollar that he uses whenever he goes to the casino, and it helps him win a lot of money. And John is his buddy who just has, regular dollar bills and stuff. So they went, and they had a budget, and they played, and the next thing you know, John ran out of money. He figured, Artie's winning all this money, so I'm going to go and borrow his dollar, his special dollar. And then Artie lent him the dollar, and John went away to start playing the slot machine, and he won a lot of money. In the meantime, Artie lost all of his money, so now he wants his special dollar back. Well, when he went up to John, he's like, dude, give me my dollar back. And John says, no, I'm winning. This is good luck for me. And Artie says, look, it's my special dollar. I want it back, so give it back to me. And John says, no way. So Artie got so mad, he shook John like crazy. He started choking him, and the next thing you know, he killed John. Isn't that crazy?
That's a horrible story.
I'm not done yet. But, and then as soon as he killed John, the mechanic of the casino happened to walk by, and Artie thought, oh no, I can't leave any witness. So he grabbed a hold of the mechanic, shoved him behind the machine, and started choking him. Killed him too. Left him behind there. And then he started walking out, and the floor boss looked at him, and he looked really suspicious, and he looked behind the machine, and he saw what happened. So he was about to go call the authorities. So here's Artie running after him and grabbed him and slung him into the closet and did the same thing. Killed the floor boss, stashed him in the closet, and then he ran away. And then the next day in the Las Vegas newspaper, the headline read, Artie chokes 3 for $1. Now, I don't know if the casino, thank you, Kyle. I'm glad you appreciate this joke of mine. The what?
That's a lot of work for a pun. I appreciate it.
Well, I would appreciate very much if you would please help me hone that joke into like a 1 minute. Don't know if the casino has a succession plan or not. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will walk away with valuable information so that you can structure your own succession plan, so that you can be successful in your transition into the next term. Okay. Anybody here can shout out what a succession plan means to you? Anybody? Yes?
Speaking from my military experience, I always used to tell my soldiers, I want you to take my job one day, so I always try to teach them what I knew so that they can, because I said, because I'm eventually either going to get out or I'm going to PCS, go someplace else or whatever, so one of you is going to take over my spot, so you got to know this stuff. I always pass on what you want.
Exactly.
Kind of like yoga too, pass on what you want.
Thank you. How about you?
For myself, it was always that any routines or patterns of how I had to execute the role, make sure they're written down so somebody else has the path of how to do it, like if you collect the dues and the agency divisions pay for our memberships. So how do you go about making that process happen and make sure it's written down so the next person knows how to do it?
Okay.
In each role doing that same sort of thing.
That's exactly it, for continuity's sake. Yes, sir. Dave?
Well, it's kind of like what he was talking about, except you didn't say it, but you have to get your successor, you have to tell them what's in it for them. In his case, they were going to take over his job and get more money and be in charge. So for your successor in your club, you need to figure out what that is for them.
Yes.
What's in it for them?
Yes, and that's something that we will go into. So essentially, what I'm hearing from the three of you is that the succession plan is to provide continuity with the club operation, the club knowledge, the club custom, and momentum, right? Right now, if you were to examine how your club is operating, there are plus and there are some minuses. And I want you to, throughout this presentation, if you would please keep in mind who you are, how you came to be the officer of your club, what you have gained from being the officer for your club, what kind of skill set, what kind of human personal development that you've gained, and then also what are some of the challenges that you are having that you would like to address before the end of your term. Okay? And succession plan is putting that in place. And what it does is it aligns your talent development with your club's future leadership needs. That's, to me, is succession plan, a succession plan. Now, why do we need a succession plan? For one, continuity. Two, we are a Toastmasters leadership organization, as well as communication. And what we want to do is we want to continue to develop people. And a succession plan helps us identify key individuals, or all of our members, and identify where they can continue to grow in leadership. And for us to mentor them into that role, or into a leadership role, whether it be as an officer of the club or not, but as someone who can also assist or lead a program, a committee, a project, a major project for the club, such as the contest or the open house or customer drive, anything within the club, they can lead it. Okay. Lost my thought for a second. So, to help members, I heard through the three presenters that the common theme for us today is mentoring. And it's very important for each one of us to understand where we are, how we were mentored, and what caused us to step into the role that we are in today, and how we can encourage, inspire new members, or current members who have yet to step up into the officer role, to be inspired to do so. Okay? And how do we do that? We do that as soon as a new member steps into the club, or a current member who is in the club. We couple with them or we partner with them. And we talk with them about what is it that they aspire to become. They want to become better speakers. They want to become better leaders. All right? And we can also identify how, if they have the potential to lead the club, if they have the personality, if they have the knowledge, something of value that can add to our club. So, one of the things that I did in my term as president of the club, in finding my own successor, because like you, unless you're someone who just loves being an officer, you want to continue being an officer, then never mind, right? But most of us, we would want to continue to grow ourselves into a district leader, a division area director, or a district leader like Kyle. We want to be able to step out of our role, such as you said, have someone take over your job. And then so we can go into a higher role within the district. So what do we do? Okay? You have that look, Kyle. Was there a question?
Nope, nope.
Okay.
He was finding his successor.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad that we are proactive, which we should always be proactive at all times, no matter where we go, even when we go to the store. There may be somebody we meet in the aisle and say, hey, you have something that our staff can use, and maybe come and visit and then train them to become the officer to replace you. But, it's a thing that we want to be cognizant of at all times, is to look out for members within surrounding our clubs to see if they can step in and help us move into the next phase of our club. So I like to make this an interactive portion of the presentation. I'm sure that there are some of you here who have been officers many times over, as in our district officers here. Perhaps you also can share with the rest of the group here what you've done. What techniques or what practices you have put in place for yourself and the rest of your officer in getting your successor, putting your successor in place or in line in the pipeline for the next term. Anybody would like to share? I know John Balisic, you've been district.
Well, I would echo the comment that was made earlier, and I can't say I've done necessarily a good job of this, but I've seen it done by some, to make a SOP, Standard Operating Procedure booklet, of this is how I do the treasurer, or this is how we do Sergeant of Arms, this is where we store things. And then to have it written down in a document that we can just pass on to somebody, in addition to talking them up and saying, I think you make a great treasurer, and I'd be more than happy to help you with any questions. I would love it if you would consider taking on that role. So it's a combination of talking it up and then having something to give them that they can see, all right, I don't have to recreate any wheels.
Right. Yes, Kyle.
So I have two thoughts, if I can share them quickly. A lot of club officers think the whole succession thing should be left up to the nominating committee. The nominating committee is going to figure it out. Well, they may figure out who's going to be the club officers, but the best way to find a successor is to get an assistant and have the person help you in your officer role. And then they become the logical person to step up. And if you haven't found an assistant by the beginning of your term, try to find one in the, by halfway through, about now, and let them start helping you. So that's the first thought. The second thought is, adding on to this, there's a club I know, if you make a decision in an officer meeting, often those decisions get buried in the minutes, and the minutes maybe get stored somewhere on somebody's hard drive, and 3 years later, people are wondering what the decision was. There's a club I know, they do the minutes, but they also have a one-page or a little notebook that the president keeps, and it's decisions that we made. Just a one line, these are decisions and the date it was made. And that way, the president can hand it to the next president.
Right. What we've done, I started to say this earlier, what we've done with our club is I had as a succession plan, unbeknownst to my club, I started having officers step into my role and be the stand-in president for a meeting, maybe once a month. That's also served to allow me the time to complete my CC or CL or my speaking projects. And it gave each one of our members a taste of what it's like to wield the gavel, to be up there and be the lead of the club, right? So you can do that as the president and as officers of your club, is to have someone shadow you, okay? You can have them assist you with whatever tasks that you may have for your role as officer. What we also do is we invite our members to attend our board meetings so that they have an idea of what it is that we as leaders of the clubs do for them. And it gives them an opportunity to share with the leaders of the club some things that would enhance or enrich their experience in the club. So those are some of the ideas that we've employed in Gig Harbor Toastmasters. Now, to have a succession plan is really important as well to ensure that we don't have any lag or any holes in our leadership team. For some reason, our club this year has suffered a major condition of attrition. We've lost 5 officers within 5 months. I don't know if any of your club have done that. And it's no fault to anybody, the ones who leave. It's due to their own personal and professional situations that they have to leave the club. But luckily, we've been proactive enough to engage with our members so that we can start picking someone right away and talking with them about what it is that is useful or what it is that is beneficial for them to step into the role. Not just for them to, of course it is to fill the slot, but at the same time we want to communicate with them the benefit for them to step into the role as well. I want to give you one experience from one of our past officers. She, prior to stepping into the officer role, she felt she was invisible. And once she stepped into the leadership role, it exposes her to more and more people within the club. It gave her a reason and an opportunity to connect with other members within the club, not only just the leaders at that time. So she was able to connect with all of the members through various communication that has to do with education and the path, and she had so much information to share, and it gave her a vehicle to do so. And at the end of her term, she told all of us, which was so touching to me, is before her stepping into the role of officer, she felt invisible. And even prior to being a Toastmaster, she was in America for 18 years. It was the first time in her life that she felt that she was seen. Now that's one of a real nice testimony to what Toastmasters leadership can do. Okay? So that's the other thing that I asked you to think about where you were before you step into the officer role. I asked you to think about the benefit that being an officer or being a leader of the club has done for you or given you. And then I also asked you to think of a challenge that you want to solve. The reason why I asked you all those things is because I want you to be able to connect with new members or current members who are not officers at their level is where they are before they take on the officer role. And because I want you to think about the benefit that being an officer is giving you is so that you can talk to these members, the ones who are reluctant to step up, and tell them, share with them, this is what being a leader has done for me. And the other thing is, the last thing, to persuade these reluctant candidates is you have a challenge. You can engage with them. Say, hey, come on along with me. Help me resolve this for our club so that we can improve mine, yours, and all of our fellow Toastmasters experience. Okay? So those are the things that please do think about. And creating a succession plan, get a committee together. Okay? It used to be traditionally the responsibility of the immediate past president. However, in some clubs, you don't have an immediate past president for whatever reason it may be. So as the board, not necessarily just the president of the club, but as the board, come together and identify and decide, let's put a committee together. If it's not by the board, bring in other members within your club and have them join you and creating a nomination committee so that they too can be in the process of thinking about, okay, this is what being a leader of the club is all about. So we will work together in identifying future leaders or future officers of the club. Okay? That's one thing to do. And then set a timeline. You should start looking at members now. However, the nomination, you should start seriously selecting members to elect into officer role starting May 1st. Yes, sir.
May I make a correction?
Sure.
TI says you should vote in your new officers at the first meeting in May.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that
So
correction.
that's in the TI timeline. So you should be announcing the nominating committee or whoever is organizing that should be announcing that by the end of April.
Okay, please make a note of that. Mr. Jason for Gig Harbor Toastmasters. Because we will need to talk about this at our board meeting, so maybe that's something, not maybe, but that definitely is something for you to, after you leave today. Start right away, it doesn't hurt. I mean, the sooner you can start, the sooner you can start looking at people within your club and start identifying who can step into your place, who you want to step into your place. You know, who you want to be the leader of your club so that they can provide you or create the kind of experiences that you want to have once you go back to being a regular club member. Because that's really important. It's not just about growing your members' skill sets or talents or, yeah. But also think about, you know, for you too. Because you will want to stay and be a member, right? You want to remain a member. You won't be disappearing. I hope you won't. Because we all can learn from each other, and if you leave, then I'll miss out on one piece. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure, you know, many of you will think so as well. If one of us leave, we may lose, right? And there's such a plethora of information and talents and knowledge and wisdom within the Toastmasters organization that we can pass on down. So start right away. And then lastly, I wanted to just, I'm doing this really quick because we'll have a question and answer, so perhaps that will work out well for you as well. It's an investment in your club to have a succession plan in place. You're investing in your club's future, your membership future, and yourself. So what kind of dividends do you want out of this investment? Think about that. Anytime we invest in something, we want big dividends, right? And it takes work, and it takes effort, it takes energy. But it is not that hard to do. It doesn't take very much to come together as a group of people. Right now, do you have a mentoring program in your club? If you don't, start putting one together too. And if you don't have enough interest in mentoring other people, perhaps hold it within a meeting. And putting a succession plan together, once you have a very clear structure of what it looks like, share it with your membership. Get them in on it. Inform them. People who are informed and aware are more apt to participate. Do that. Okay? Now, I open it up to you. If you have any questions that perhaps I can answer in terms of how, what, when to do or put together a succession plan, I will answer, or one of us will be able to share our knowledge as well. Any questions? Please? Let's make it lively. Otherwise, I'm going to have to dismiss you guys early. Or you'll have to spend a lot of time filling out the evaluation that makes you have to be thorough. Yes, sir.
It's not a question, it's a comment.
Yes.
When you're putting together the nominating committee,
Mhm.
there's only one person in the club who cannot be on it. Who is that?
Anybody?
The president.
And the reason why the president can't be on that committee, you probably have a better.
Actually, I don't know if Toastmasters even says why. In the manual, they just say you can't be on the committee.
I would
But
assume-
the president is the one role that can't repeat. The president
Can't repeat,
Can't repeat. You can't be president 2 years in a row.
right.
So
I would assume
That would
that,
be interesting.
I would assume that it's because of like the role of authority. So you would be saying like, I want you to be the membership person, and then people would feel that because you're the president, they kind of have to do. So I would imagine it's kind of a hierarchy piece.
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's yes and no, because the the officers would be voted in by the membership.
Right.
Yeah, so I think, I hear what you're saying. You think there might be a power,
Yeah, it's psychological, I think, yeah.
yeah.
Can't be on the nominating committee.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know.
The presidents have to wait a year because the following year, the immediate past president is technically the chairman of the nominating committee. So they just bump them back.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Traditionally, the IPP, that's what we call it. We have 3 IPPs at our table right now. But, yeah, the immediate past president is the one to chair the nomination committee. But I think it's-
Here's a comment too.
Yes.
If all else fails, just shift the roles one to the left around the officers' meeting. You know, everybody just take on.
Shadowing is wonderful. It definitely doesn't hurt because it gives the membership or the officers
And I
and
agree with
membership
you.
appreciation,
I agree with you.
you know, of what is being done or what has been done. A lot of times we don't communicate. I don't know about the rest of you, but sometimes we don't communicate what we do within a board meeting, you know. The challenges that we discuss on what to put in place for our members to have better experience, to create an environment that's enjoyable and so they can learn and develop and grow easier. Just like, I'm not saying that, you know, the officers are the parents of the club, but it's kind of like that kind of relationship. You know, the parents are the ones who charter all the processes and the ways we run the family and the plan and the, you know, how it's structured, and then the children just kind of like la-di-da along and just, you know, enjoy their lives until they become adults. And still at that kind of parenthood. But I'm saying the officers, I think it would be really good for you to have your board meeting and share what you discuss with your membership so that it keeps them aware. That's the one thing that I wish I did more often when I was in the officer role last year, is to myself and encourage our board to share information with the rest of our membership. Because then they know we have set aside time, our own time, in support of them and creating an environment for them to enjoy themselves and to learn. And it's something that, you know, for them to give back. And that brings me to one of the promises of Toastmaster number 6, is a promise to step up and be an officer of the club when it's time and when they are asked. Okay? We've done
Have
it.
you ever seen the expression on a new member's face when you read them that in the induction? Oh, you just read it really fast.
You know, that gives me an idea. This is where I love in interaction, you know, interactive conversation, because it sparks ideas. Somebody in the last president breakout session, when I was over at Division A, they said that what they do with induction is they have the members of the club read each point of the Toastmasters promise. So what you just said inspired me to talk with our club about having the new member read that point. The rest of the membership read the other points, but have the new member read that point. So that they actually, it absorbs in them. That's a great idea. See? Anything else? Yes, Adrian?
Part of finding our successors is identifying potential candidates. And right now, that's something that I have done. I have to travel for work for 3 months, so I'll be bailing out on my club officer position. And knowing that that was potentially coming up, I identified somebody who's just to be a real go-getter, wants to take on a bunch of roles, asked her, hey, would you be my assistant? And by the way, I might need somebody to step in if it ends up I travel for work. And that, if you choose, could put you in a position to be a club officer for the next Toastmaster year. Planning for, or thinking about that, identifying a candidate, priming for it, because they can always say no, thank you. When I was club president, I knew who I wanted to be the next club president. That person did end up becoming club president. If they hadn't, that would have been okay. At least I had the conversation with them and let them know, hey, I think you can do it. I think you're ready. I've seen that in you. So there's a lot of purposes, and agreed that absolutely wonderful to have a succession plan to keep that continuity.
And share it with them. It's like, this is where we see that you have the capability, and let us work together and develop that and develop you into the role of an officer, a leader of the club. And, you can put your mark on it. Because what you're doing right now is you're putting your mark on your club. You're establishing your legacy, or you're adding on to the previous executive team's legacy. And what you want to do is you want to invite new members or current members who are not in the role and ask them, what kind of environment do you want in the next term? We're not going to be here. You are. How do you want the club to perform? What kind of atmosphere do you want? Would you like to leave a legacy for this club? How do you want to grow the club? Leave your mark. So that's something, whenever I don't know about you, if I were to pose that to you, would you be thinking what you would want to put in place? How you want to change things or to add on to what is already present or available? We all want to be significant, right? Or have significance. We all want to be able to effect positive change. This is an opportunity. And if you have already done that, that's what you use to talk to your potential officers about, discuss with them. Right? So there we have it. Succession plan. I'm available for questions if you need to contact or want to contact me and have a other longer discussion about it. I'm available. Joanna will be able to give you my information to contact me. So thank you very much for your time.